What is up, Star Wars fans? G'day there. My name is Hannah, and welcome to the RaeSide. It is another great week this week, episode 5 of Andor, right around the corner, mere hours away. 4 hours, I think it is. We're 4 hours out from the drop of the show, or 5. Maybe I've miscalculated that. 5 hours out. But it's good to see you. I feel like I haven't been here for a while, which I saw you last week, but it's been a long time. I went away for the weekend, so maybe that's why it probably feels like a long time. But how are we all? How's your week going? Very excited to be here, back doing Star Wars things. We've got a really fun show today. I've got lots of things here to make because we're going to be making some bluedles. If you didn't tell by the thumbnail, we're going to be making those blue noodles that we saw in Andor episode 1, I think it was. I think in my description I say episode 2, but I meant episode 1, so I'll edit that later. But welcome Julie, welcome Joel to the show. Great to have you guys here. But yes, we're gonna be making those bluedles that the Ferrix cop guy was eating. Which they look delicious. It was like one of the main standouts of episode 1 for me. I was like, oh my gosh, what are those? What are those? Which look fantastic. So obviously I had to make them on the show. We had to make them here. I am the queen of making Star Wars things. So of course we had to make the blue noodles. So we're going to be getting started on that just shortly. But let me know how you're doing. How your week's been. I'm currently reading through Bloodline, the book, which is turning out to be phenomenal. I'm at that real climactic part of the book, which most books have, and it's just so thrilling. I'm loving it so much. Very Princess Leia focused, which I'm loving, which is awesome. But yeah, good week so far. Excited to see Andor. There's lots to talk about because last episode was absolutely cracker. It was really, really cool. Lots of in depth and lots of complexity of conversation. So there's lots to be expected of episode 5 and what we could see. Did the box come yet, Julie? Not yet, but I'm just so thrilled that you're sending me something at all. I'm so excited. I'll let you know. Maybe I should do an unboxing video when it comes. That would be phenomenal. But I mean, things take a while to get to Australia anyway, and shipping times are kind of slower at the moment. So but yeah, that sounds fantastic. I think I'll do an unboxing video for you when that arrives. Thank you so much. But it's yeah, like I said, it's gonna be a great episode this week. What are people's predictions, thoughts? There's gonna be quite a few, I think, story developments happening. Obviously, in the episode 4, we got kind of two main storylines set up. It was the first episode we saw Mon Mothma, and we kind of introduced to where she's at, what she's doing. And so I believe we're probably gonna see that continued, and of course see this dinner party perhaps unfold at her apartment with her husband Perrin. Don't like Perrin. And also there's that storyline, and then there's also the storyline of Cassian on Aldani and trying to steal these credits from this Aldani base and see how that goes. But let me know your predictions, thoughts. What can we see from this episode? As we do that, I'm going to go grab our hot water so we can start making our bluedles. Alrighty. Okay. Had to make sure it was piping hot. Excellent. So yeah, for this bluedles, wow, I don't know if you can see the steam from that, but it's cranking. I'm gonna kind of do a cheat method. So I know there's the Galaxy's Edge cookbook that actually has a recipe for blue noodles, which kind of uses, I think it's like a tea or something to like color the noodles, but I'm doing the cheat version, and I'm using our classic food coloring. And this food coloring is featured in so many episodes of the RaeSide by this point. But I feel like it's going to just be a recurring prop on this show. It just keeps coming in. But we're gonna add a little bit of flavors here and there to make it a bit more interesting. And so I can hopefully enjoy eating it as well. Oh yes, I love it. Ready for the diverse court only on Disney Plus. I love it. Ready for the Mon Mothma divorce. Bring it. Hopefully, we get to see the Star Wars divorce, the ultimate Star Wars divorce happen. Oh my gosh, they totally should. I should totally reach out to. They're called Queen. I should totally reach out to them. Hey, do you want to sponsor a Star Wars variety show? That's such a good idea. Okay, I'm gonna get started because this is hot water and I need the hot water to be able to cook the noodles. So what I'm making or using for the noodles is vermicelli noodles. These go by a bunch of different names. I think they go by like angel hair noodles as well. They're just thin rice noodles. So that's what I'm gonna be making for these. They're instead of just the normal like instant noodles, which are a bit of a yellow color. These are kind of translucent and white, so it's going to pick up that blue color quite well, I hope. Welcome, Geek Ledger. Welcome to the show. Make sure everybody you make Geek Ledger feel welcome. Good to have you here, my friend. All right. Oh, before I keep going, guess who's back this week? Action Cam. He was away last week. I don't know if it's. I feel like it's a he. Yeah. Action Cam was away last week, but he's back this week. So here I've got that's piping hot boiling water there. I don't know if you can see that steam coming off that. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to flavor the water. I'm kind of doing like a deconstructed instant noodle essentially right now. So I've got a little bit of stock powder, which is going to give us that flavor. Welcome, Keith. Welcome. As a child of divorce, I don't say this lightly, Mon Mothma needs to file ASAP. I take your word. I bet I'll turn on her. Yeah. Welcome, Keith. Welcome to the show. Yeah. So I mean, like, I guess first stop. Let's talk about this this dinner party. This dinner party that Perrin like shocked Mon Mothma with. Or Mon Mothma forgot about. Dinner party of some senators. And of course, there's a couple names mentioned there which didn't strike me as too familiar, but one I did, I think we all kind of maybe picked up on was Sly Moore, which we mentioned in the post show last week. Sly Moore was one of those senators that was quite a good friend. Let's start with one. I don't know how blue these are going to be. Oh, wow. That was one drop. That's pretty blue. I think I'll do one more. Sly Moore was quite a good friend and probably still is quite a good friend of Palpatine. So, obviously Mon Mothma rightfully not too keen to be best friends with her. And Sly Moore kind of, by the sounds of it, is not a fan of Mon Mothma either. So I really hope we get, what I think of is Alice in Wonderland. And there's that scene. That's a movie I haven't seen in a while. But there's, the Mad Hatter. And there's that tea party scene. That's what I'm thinking. It's just going to be chaos. There's just going to be such random things happen. There's going to be interesting discussions and things happening. All right, I've whacked my noodles in there. Man, I'm glad Action Cam is back for this week. Got my noodles in, steeping. So let's try and. It's not fully underwater, but hopefully it'll start to dissolve in there. Let's just let that sit there for a little while, hey? Rick, what have you got for me? I think Perrin is going to cause lots of problems. He's going to unknowingly put Mon Mothma in danger. Yeah, I think so. I think Perrin, I don't think he's inherently evil, but I feel like he just won't agree with Mon Mothma, and he'll probably find out what Mon Mothma's doing and try and out her or something like that. Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's gonna cause a bit of trouble, kind of maybe unknowingly cause a bit of trouble to Mon Mothma. I feel like maybe I should add some more blue coloring. Who ever said blue coloring? No one needs blue coloring. Alrighty. Let's whack it in there. I wonder if this is gonna make my mouth turn blue. But yeah, I feel like Perrin, let's call it now. I feel like Perrin is gonna get Mon Mothma into a lot of trouble. Do we think knowingly? Do we think Perrin is gonna try and take the demise of his wife? Or do we think it's gonna be innocently and he's just gonna be like, what you doing? Or like, yeah, do these things where he like accidentally invites like all these evil senators over. Is it gonna be unknowingly or knowingly? Alrighty. So the Gen is softer. I want to make them really blue. The water's really blue, but it's not sucking up all the blue. So I'm going to just make this water really, really blue. So again, we've got a bit of flavoring, hot water, and some coloring in here to make our bluedles. It's a really fun word to say, but I really struggled to spell that word, bluedles. Didn't know how to spell that. Let's give it another flip, another sit. Keith. I need to rewatch the episode to get up to speed, but I'll enjoy doing so. Yeah, I had a rewatch. I had a rewatch of episode 4, and I was really surprised by how much I didn't get the first time, and how much I did in fact miss. So I definitely think Andor, because it is quite a it's a dialogue heavy show. Like a lot of the key information is in the dialogue. The rewatches are really helpful. Like I really earned a lot of understanding and a lot better um yeah, just a lot better understanding and just appreciation and enjoyment on my rewatch, because like first watch you're kind of just soaking in all the moments that happen, but then on the rewatch you get to like really listen into everything that's happening. And then so by the end of I found by the end of my rewatch I like really understood a lot more of what was happening, instead of just being like, okay, where are we now? Where are we now? Kind of thing. Because I did find that in episode 4, we did like, because it is doing that like A and B storyline, it is quite like I got a little bit of whiplash maybe going from back and forth from like Eldani to like what was happening on Coruscant. Like that was quite back and forth. But I think they might continue with that. Like, I feel like during this show, I think we're gonna get a strong A, B, and maybe even C kind of storylines happening. Because obviously Luthen was in storyline A, but now he's like in storyline B of Mon Mothma. So I think there's gonna be lots of moving around in these. Disney needs to serve Blue Noodle at Galaxy's Edge as soon as possible. So how cool would it have watch parties at Galaxy's Edge? That would be cool. That's a good marketing thing. I mean, like, think of how well received those Star Wars events are. Like, think about that. Like, if Disney want to be doing things that like are getting them the money, like, I feel like that's a fantastic idea. I feel like, yeah, like not even like a premiere, like a premiere, but just like, yeah, just watch parties. Maybe even for like every episode, and it's like they have some sort of massive, I don't know whether they would do it in Disneyland specifically. But yeah, somehow set up an event just to hype up every episode. Like, even if it was for like 100 people, like that would be sold out every week. I think that would be such a cool marketing thing. Maybe it would be like a bit of a lottery system to get tickets to it. I like that idea. Man, this is a good blue. Like, they're not fully cooked yet, but that's a solid blue color. Look at that. We'll put them back in. I think they might need a little bit hot water. I'm going to actually just go grab a little more hot water, and then hopefully this will be cooked in a few minutes. Okay, alrighty. So, got my Star Wars mug here. I'm just going to add a little bit more hot water to continue the cooking process a little bit more. Fantastic. Okay, what have we got? Rick with Perrin and Mon Mothma. I think it's an arranged marriage, and Perrin is just happy to have status and perks, doesn't even get politics. I'm not sure if he even fathoms what Mon Mothma does. That's a really good take. I think that's a good I think that's actually a really fantastic thought. Canonically, I think she was married at 16. It says that. I don't know what piece of literature says that, but that's somewhere in the galaxy. Um, so yeah, it's like maybe it was an arranged marriage for like status, like maybe he's the son of like some wealthy Chandrillan thing family. Yeah, maybe it's Perrin. He definitely had that vibe where he was dressed in elegant clothes and he was like, obviously lived in the cool penthouse, but his personality felt very like relaxed and like kind of a bit disconnected, didn't really know what was happening, just being like, oh yeah, I'm just having a dinner party with like some friends, whatever. Like I said, I feel like Perrin isn't inherently bad. Um, like I don't think he's evil or like plotting against Mon Mothma, but I just feel like he doesn't fit and he's like probably gonna accidentally like do something wrong against Mon Mothma. Something like that. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, Whiplash, good description. Thank you. Joe, like remembering those videos where people were watching Game of Thrones in bars, maybe in the Galaxy's Edge bar, they serve blue milk and green milk and random Star Wars food. Yeah, that would be really, really cool, actually. That, like, again, man, you should definitely be like a marketing head of marketing for Disney because that's a really cool idea. That would be so cool. Because how fun would that be? And then, they serve blue noodles and all those kinds of things. I mean, speaking about marketing, this is kind of random side note. The Pulse Con happened over the past weekend, and a couple of the Andor figures were like announced or shown. And they're not coming till like March or February next year, 2023. And it just, again, baffles me. Why, how, like, Andor's right now. Imagine if those figures were coming out week to week and, like, the week we meet Mon Mothma, like, the figure is like, get it, like, the next day you can get Mon Mothma. And, like, imagine, I feel like the sales on that, because everyone's like, the hype and excitement of Mon Mothma was just so great. And everyone's just freaking out. So I feel like, the sales of that figure would be really high because everyone's just like, oh, that was so cool. Oh my God, yes, I would love a figure of Mon Mothma. Like, why isn't that happening? Same thing with Cassian. Like when the premiere came out, like drop the Cassian and the Bix and the Luthen figures because everyone's like, oh my God, that premiere was fantastic. Let's get those figures. So it baffles me that those figures are like coming out like over 6 months from the show. Doesn't make sense in my head. Welcome, Sevilla. Welcome. No, that's okay that you're late. They World Cup stickers. Wow, that's very specific, but I love it. I'm gonna watch the World Cup. But I didn't. That is sad. That is sad to say. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it said Perrin served in the military. Like some of his guests were said to be part of his regiment, so I'm sure he understands politics to an extent. That's true. He was kind of his buddies are kind of in that realm, so it's maybe he knows. Maybe he like knows politics. He maybe knows the people in politics. He seems like a social guy, obviously. But maybe he's just not as passionate as Mon Mothma. Perhaps. Oh my God! Welcome, Chatter Squadron. Fantastic! Great to have you here. Yeah, the blue. Actually, I'm not checking on them frequently enough, but they're like almost cooked. But the blueness, the water is bluer than the noodles is turning out to be. But they're almost cooked. Make sure they're nice and submerged. We added a little bit of seasoning, food coloring to our hot water to cook them, and then we're going to add a little bit of seasonings at the end to obviously make it's not just like bland noodles. Bland bluedles. Wow, that's hard to say. Say that 3 times. Bland bluedles. Joel Perrin seems like someone who enjoys the high life but doesn't want to deal with the ramification of it. I agree. That's a good take. Read a story today that the art studio with all the relics for sale could open the door to Dr. Aphra, maybe. That's a cool concept there. I haven't read any Dr. Aphra. But obviously she's a big fan favorite. I'm aware of her existence, and I feel like a lot of people would love to see her come into like visual media like that, like a show somehow. But that would be a cool connection. That would be a very, very cool connection. These bluedles actually look amazing. Yeah, it's that whole scene of episode 4 was really, really cool. I like the little Easter eggs we got in there. The armor of that, I don't know the character name, but that like of that guy from Force Unleashed the game. Then we got the Mando armor, which kind of could have been like a Jango Fett, or it could have been it could have just been a random Mando, but that cool Mandalorian armor. Bland Bluedles band name. The Bland Bluedles. Hey guys, thanks for coming out tonight. We're the Bland Bluedles. I love that. Welcome, Dave. I know Chef Hunt. I feel like this is slowly turning into Star Wars cooking show, even though I'm not a chef and I'm like not aspiring to be a chef. But it is slowly becoming a cooking show. RaeSide is, yeah, I feel, have we settled on a name for this little like team we got going here in the live chat? I don't know what to call you guys. Racesiders, races? No, that's, I feel like that doesn't hit well. I don't know. I don't know if we've decided on a name there. But we're almost done with our bluedles here. We're almost ready to do a bit of a taste test and like tuck in very soon. I don't want to do it prematurely though. But look at that. Get in there, action cam. Let's get a close up. Look at that color. Look at how vibrant that is. I'm happy with that. Again, this is like the cheat version, the proper version, which is there's a good recipe in the Galaxy's Edge cookbook that uses like butterfly pea tea. I think it's like a flower or something, and like it colors things blue. The rain noodles, the sidewalkers, the sidewalkers. You know what? I actually really like that because it's less of my name and closer to the Skywalkers, the sidewalkers. That's cool. Thank you. I think I have good chopstick skills. I think yeah. Thank you. I feel like I'm pretty good with them. And in a little while, I'm actually whoa! I just flicked liquid everywhere. In a little while, I'm actually going to change out these chopsticks for Star Wars chopsticks. So wait, in a little while, I'm going to use those to actually eat them with. These are like my practical chopsticks, and then I have Star Wars chopsticks that we're going to use to consume it with. But I'm just kind of feeling that for the texture. It's still got a couple little while to go. I feel like I want to add another thing of hot water, but that's okay. I'll just let them sit. I think I'm just excited to get into it. But let's keep that in the action cam shot there. Actually, let's put them on the side. Add some veggies. Yeah, I'm doing it like a very basic version today, where it's just kind of like a flavored broth and then a little bit of sesame oil and soy sauce to top. But definitely, I feel like if I was making this a legitimate meal, I would definitely add, yeah, maybe some. Oh, you know what would have been cool if I added like shredded chicken to this and put it in the blue broth as well. So it like the chicken, because chicken's like white meat, it will become blue. Oh my gosh, man, I should plan these shows with you guys because that would have been a great idea. The Ray Noodles. Where's your comment? What comment? Oh, your headcanon. That's right. Gotcha, Geek Ledger. My headcanon until it's disproved that is that Perrin is a military lobbyist, and that's his whole thing, and is why my gosh, read Hannah. And it's why Mon doesn't like buying him antique weapons, given all he probably talks about is the war. Yeah, that's a good point. He definitely seems like that guy that like loves collecting guns and like loves weapons and like it all. It's like his personality is that. So maybe that's a cool theory. I love that. That's my headcanon until disproved. That's like me with like everything in Star Wars. I love that. I'm gonna fall over if you eat it. They look amazing. How would I not eat these noodles? They look delicious. 2 chopsticks. The budget for this show is off the charts. I'm telling you. Hannah, a friend of mine had a wild, I like how that's the key word, the wild idea of who Mon Mothma wanted to bring into the circle. Oh my gosh, what's the wild idea? Who could be someone wild? Oh, that's right, because that was an interesting conversation. When Mon and Luthen are like chatting, and she's like, I want to bring someone in the circle, and he's like, we already don't have money, and like I can't feed someone else. Which I love how Luthen is like the dad of the rebellion at this point. He like feeds them all. And what's a wild suggestion? What's a wild person? Because it's like Bail Organa? I don't know. Like, I feel like that's a safe assumption, but it's like I feel like Bale's involved by this point at least. So it's like who could be a wild suggestion? Blue chicken. They look like the drumsticks. They're big. Yeah, are they large? I think it's maybe it's the action cam like perspective. Actually, I feel like they're kind of big. Actually, now you say that. Who's this wild person? Mon Mothma wants to bring in a representative from Naboo. Jar Jar Binks. No joke, he made a serious suggestion. Imagine that. The discourse that would happen, firstly, the discourse that would happen if Jar Jar Binks. But I'm here for it. My God, that would be so cool. I'm a big Jar Jar fan. I mean, Phantom Menace is my favorite Star Wars movie. I'm a big Jar Jar fan. So that would be phenomenal. That would be such an epic, such a twist. That would be such a twist. But I mean, I doubt it. But I would agree that that is a wild theory. That is a wild, wild theory. Okay, I feel like we're almost ready. We're at a good texture here. Look at that. Look at that. Are we getting bluedly? Is that bluedle enough? Do you feel like I should wait long? I feel like it's a little bit still undercooked. Oh, I should taste one. That's smart. It's still not fully cooked. I feel like we need more hot water. Let me go get more hot water. Can we count how many times this show I run away from the camera? This is runaway number 2. Okay. We're back. We're back in business. Chatting Squadron, can you guys be my mods for the chat every time I run away? The only way she could these chopsticks is by playing like a bowl. Oh my gosh, yes. I could totally drum with these. I have like multiple bowls as well. Oh, how perfect. That sounded fantastic. Let's get a better setup here. Gee, this is an unhinged show. This is one of the most Wow. This show is turning into something else, I'm telling you. I said this maybe in the first show ever. One day we will do a show where I write a Star Wars song live on the show and like everyone helps me with like the lyrics and like what it's going to be about. That would be amazing. Favorite lightsaber color? Bluedle. That's amazing. We'll be back to the Jar Jar idea. We go redemption arc for Jar Jar, but yeah, it's very improbable to happen. Can you imagine building up all this grit and tension and the stakes as the door opens? Misa want to be in the circle. That's such a good point. By redemption arc, I mean he's the one who gave the chance the emergency powers publicly. Yeah, that was kind of wild. That was wild. Hannah needs to add a GoPro or give the action cam a run for its money. You know what? That's a good idea. Again, if I get like the more money I can like put into this show, I'm gonna get an action cam for like out behind the mysterious curtain over there. So you can see what happens when I run out and like where I'm running to and what's out there. I feel like that would be like, yeah, action cam number 2. Oh no, that would be called like runaway cam or something. And it's like you see where I go when I like run away from the show. That'd be so funny. Chopsticks confirmed. Geek Ledger, I would ship Lou than a Mon, but he might be too old for her. We don't really need another big age gap. Anakin Padme. Han and Leia. Yeah, absolutely. That makes more sense. Drumsticks confirmed. Hannah makes music on. All those artifacts in the store better be insured if Jar Jar gets in there. Oh yeah, for sure he's gonna like whip around and his ears like just like take out like the all the vases and all the things in the background. That would be phenomenal. Drums, chopsticks. That's better. Okay. Our bluedles are almost fully cooked now. I'll do a quick taste test in a minute. These are looking fan-doodly-tastic. Fan-noodly-tastic. More like. Ha ha ha. But what else is going to happen in this episode? What else? This is all. We're all talking about the B storyline. I feel here the B story. Mon Mothma married at age 18. Apparently, they have a daughter. Some think it's the leader of the group Andor is with. Actually, yes. Before we move on, actually, this is kind of a good segue. That is very interesting to me. I'm very interested to see who. Yeah, apparently she has a daughter and who that is. Because if you watch my reaction video to episode 4, I actually say when Luthen is talking to, is it Vel or Val? I actually don't know which one it is. I think it's Vel. Yeah, but like the main leader of that Aldani group, I was like, oh, I feel like this is a father-daughter. Like I thought Vel was Luthen's daughter. But maybe it's Mon Mothma's daughter. Maybe it's both their daughter. No. But yeah, I feel like there's a child relationship gonna be here somewhere. I mean, Star Wars is very into that, like father-son, mother-daughter, father-daughter like relationships all throughout Star Wars. So I feel like they can't go a whole show without doing some sort of that. Even if it's not blood, Star Wars is like a family show in the sense of not the audience, but like the characters of the stories. It's a very like, it's about family and blood family and non-blood family. So yeah, I feel like there's gonna be some connection somewhere there. I'll do a little bit of a plug here as well. If you've checked it out, on Friday last week was not live, but it was published. My interview with Omid Abtahi, who played Dr. Pershing, and another Star Wars character. You need to watch the video to find out who. That is live on my channel now. Please check it out. Leave a comment if you enjoyed it, and maybe also suggest someone else I could interview next, and go about seeing if I can interview. Make sure you like and comment that video. It really helps me out. But that was a really fun interview, so make sure you check that out. My Omid Abtahi interview. Okay, I feel like we're almost ready to serve up these bluedles. But back to Andor. Back to Andor. We're focusing on this B story because there's also this whole A story that's happening. Cassian is like on Aldani, which to be honest wasn't my favorite part of episode 4. I'm kind of still warming to this concept and like this storyline. That like that little Aldani gang that's in the hills there, and their plan to kind of execute this robbery essentially. But I definitely hope this episode 5, I feel like it's got to be a pretty action-packed episode. I feel like a lot's gonna happen in this episode. Sorry, Rick. I think when the mission goes down, we're gonna see Cassian make a split-second decision that somehow fractures the group. Like it saves the mission, but one of them gets killed. Now there's an idea. Now that I think that's a very plausible concept, because I feel like they can't just get in there, get the thing, and succeed. I think they will get away, but that's a good story element. I feel like Cassian is gonna somehow maybe become the bit more of the leader than Vel or something like that. But that's a cool idea. Like he like saves everyone, but like one of them doesn't, and it's like they're grateful, but they kind of hate him that he killed some. I don't know. That's a cool idea. I'll be interested to see if that happens. Dave, have we discussed Luthen's background? What Luthen's background might be? Might he be a Jedi, since he is yet to be mentioned in this Star Wars series? That's a good question. And actually, as you mentioned that, you know what I have a theory on? No idea his name, but the guy in the Aldani group, that he's got like the little hat, and he was the one that was sleeping, and like the dude came up and like woke him up. But the guy that was sleeping, I think he might have Force sensitivity. Because if you go back and rewatch all his dialogue and like all his input into conversations and into the scenes and story, it was very like Like, it was when they were talking about, is like Cassian good? And he was like, yes, like I trust him. Like, I have a feeling. And they're like, you have a feeling? And he's like, yeah, I've got a feeling like he's a good guy. Like, I don't know. Like, that's very purposeful and I feel like specific dialogue. And I feel like that character is gonna be not a Jedi, but maybe a force sensitive person, and we're gonna maybe like find that out later or something. I don't know. That'll be cool. Yes. Oh my gosh, Joel. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking about right now. Yeah, I feel like, and maybe he will die. That's a good point. Maybe he's the one. The visual effect of the astral anomaly. Wow. They talk about in episode 4 is going to look crazy. It sounded like fireworks display on steroids. That's right. There was that whole, they were having that whole discussion about this astral anomaly where there's like, it fills the sky like a curtain of like meteors or something. Hopefully we're gonna see then. Well, isn't that like, it's like when they're gonna do the attack or something? It's like that only happens every 3 years. And like it's gonna happen again, and like that's when they're gonna attack for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, hopefully we see that. That would be cool to see. Okay. I think we're gonna tuck into these noodles now. I think we're gonna start to make them presentable and take a taste. So I'm going to be quiet for a second as I concentrate on this. Jeez, check out that noodle pool. There we go. They're still a little bit light, but actually it looks better on camera than it does in real life. It's not actually that blue. Oh, check these out. Now, I haven't, as much as we said we can add things to it, I haven't added anything to them because in the Andor, like in the episode when that guy eats them, it looks like they're just plain. I don't know. I remember paper towel this time. Every show I need paper towel for something. Okay. Now, also these are my second pair of chopsticks. I'll get to the comments in just a second. I'm just gonna add a bit of flavorings to these noodles. We're just gonna add a little bit of soy sauce. I don't know if this is gonna ruin the blueness of it. It did a little bit. That's okay. I want flavor over looks. A little bit of sesame oil. Come on, buddy. Delicious. Great. And check out these chopsticks. I got these chopsticks from a friend who went to Japan, and she picked these up for me. Check that out. Actually, Action Cam can look at them. They are Anakin Skywalker chopsticks. How cool is that? So it's totally food safe, and they're like meant to be chopsticks, but it gets better. Ready? Hang on. How do I get this in frame? So ready? They turn on. They glow. How cool is that? So it's like you're using a lightsaber as you eat. Actually, this one's not doing too well. You doing well, buddy? One's brighter than the other, but that's okay. But try not to cut your mouth on these lightsabers. Okay, let's do a taste test of our bluedles that we've made here. You can see a little bit of soy I've added on top just for a little bit of flavor. Action Cam getting in on that action as well. Out of 10, what are we thinking of these bluedles? Would you eat these? I love the color blue, so these look incredibly appetizing. Let's do a taste test. Is it just going to taste like food coloring? Let's find out. Gosh, I could have made the bowl a little less full. How are we going to do this? Oh, jeez. Should I just do it? Oh, jeez, totally. Oh my god, so much is happening right now. I can't get it in my mouth. Oh my god. This is such an unhinged show. If this is your first show watching, I'm so sorry. I can't fit them all. Tastes like noodles. That's pretty good. Tastes like noodles. Pretty good. Pretty good bluedles. I'm happy with that. That's cool. I feel like I make this again. But for my maybe for the Andor finale. But yeah, very good. Yeah, this somehow turned into Star Wars mukbang. Whale blubber? Man, you Alaskans are wild. It actually looks tasty, amazing. Thank you, Sevilla. And I think I'm blue intolerant. That's so good. I love that. I didn't expect to see Hannah struggle this much to eat plain noodles, but anyway. Yeah, I don't know why I struggled there. I think because I was kind of laughing, so they just kept wobbling everywhere. Really struggled there. My gosh. Joel, I wonder if we see Mas Amida. He's very close to Palpatine and is the guard of Visor. He's the Grand Visor. He knows even about Exegol before Darth Vader does. Yeah, Mas Amida. If you don't know Mas Amida, he's that blue guy with the horns. He was in the prequels. I'm pretty sure that's that guy, right, Joel? Yeah, I feel like we could see him at some point. Like if we're gonna see Palpatine in the show, I feel like we're gonna see Mas Amida as well. He would be a cool character to show up. A Star Wars cookbook. I know. There's the Galaxy's Edge cookbook, but I feel like I'm gonna come out with a random Star Wars cookbook of a fan Star Wars cookbook kind of thing. I would be down to eat some bluedles with you for the finale. Oh my! You know what I should also do? I've also had this thought of this would happen many months, years down the path. But it's I'll make the RaeSide food pack. So it's I'll plan a show and be we're gonna eat this thing on this show on this date. And then if you want one of what we're gonna make, I'll send you a pack of how to make it. So it's on the show when I do all the steps and we make the thing, you make it in your home and you make the thing of what I'm making, and then we eat it all together. Almost the blue milk I did for the first show. Get all the things for that and send it to you so we can all eat the same thing. I've also had that thought, but I definitely think I'll kind of do a big. Maybe I'll make my Mon Mojito as well and make some bluedles and any other food that we see in Andor. I might have that as well. Crack, I would fall over if Palpatine showed for dinner. Imagine that. Did we say? I feel like that was I talked about that in the after show last week. Imagine Palpatine coming to your place for dinner. Oh, that's right. We did talk about this and making the joke of more potatoes, Palpatine. Would you like some pepper with that, Sheev? It's oh geez, how do you interact there? But that's really, really cool. Is Disney actually sleeping on the potential of Star Wars merchandise? Yeah, right. I feel like they are. I kind of hope Luthen is just a member of the Church of the Force, which is probably underground at this point as the Empire cracked down on any non-Sith Force organizations. Yeah, I mean, I'm still iffy on the idea that Luthen is a Force user, but I feel like he maybe is a supporter or a I don't know. I feel like he just supports or is trying to rebuild the Jedi. Maybe not rebuild the Jedi, but just he's a supporter. He supports the Jedi. I don't know. Maybe he had a Jedi friend. These are hard to eat. There we go. Oh my gosh. Making such a mess. Love these bluedles. They're delicious. That's true. That's true. I should. If you didn't check it out, the Andor premiere, she was in that video. She had better perspectives of Andor than I did. But that was really fun. Just right now I imagined a Star Wars restaurant. That'd be cool. Rick, I don't think we're going to see anything of the big characters. No Palpatine, no Force users. It's all going to be Imperial middle management. Yeah, I mean, obviously with Tony Gilroy coming out saying we're not going to see a bunch of like cameos. It's not a cameo heavy show. I feel like there's characters in here that is just like I feel like it would be what's the right word? A misventure or miss opportunity to not have a like if we're gonna see the Senate, we should at live footage from inside the Senate. I feel like we should at least get some footage of even a hologram of Palpatine at least. So I feel like Palpatine should because he's like in this vicinity. Palps is far too restrained to show up to parties. Not restrained. That was not the word. Raisined to show up to party. That's a good point. I wonder what his nighttime routine is. What's his moisturizer schedule like? What does he do? Give him blue noodles after what Mace did to him. He needs a little color. Oh my gosh, welcome, Jeff. Just tuned in. Nice looking bluedles. Thank you. They actually turned out really well. They're a little bit green on the green side, but they're pretty blue. They're pretty good bluedles, if you ask me. Eating them with my Anakin Skywalker chopsticks as well. But yeah, welcome to the show, Jeff. Great to have you here. Make sure everyone welcomes Jeff. Sevilla, I mean, Palps has a big probability to appear. Difficult to imagine Imperial Senate session without the Emperor appearing himself. Even as a chance that he was always there. Yeah, I think so. I think he kind of has been a bit more recluse since Empire days, but I feel like he's gonna show up even as a hologram. Surely not. Surely not. Why not? He will be seen in Bad Batch 2. I think so, I believe. Imperial Middle Management, I see a spin-off, The Office Star Wars Edition. Now that's an idea. Now that is an idea. Like that whole group that was in that like the ISB meeting in episode 4. Imagine an Office episode of just like all those characters. That would be phenomenal. According to the law, Palpatine isolates himself from everyone and lets his advisors like Masamita run the thing. See, that makes sense. I kind of understand that. I feel yeah, he's like a bit more recluse these days of Andor days, but I feel like yeah, surely we like if we can see him as a hologram in Obi-Wan, I feel like we can see him as a hologram in Andor. What do you use to blue them? I made a bit of a concoction over here. If you can see, this was like the broth. So I used like noodle flavoring, and then I did the cheat method, and I just used blue food coloring. But you can actually use it's called like butterfly pea tea bags, where it's like a flower, and you like colors it like better. I don't know. But I just did the cheat method. I just used blue food coloring. So it was like broth coloring. And then I added a bit of soy sauce and sesame on top. So I think next time we make this, maybe for the finale, I'm gonna add some chicken and like dye the chicken as well, and maybe some vegetables, maybe some blue vegetables somehow. I think that would be cool. OMG laughed so hard the dogs jumped moisturizer. Yeah, well, like, come on, like he's like Channel Squadron said that he's pretty raisined at this point. He's pretty wrinkly. Surely he has a moisturizer routine, probably. Law Santeca wasn't Force sensitive, and he was a pastor of the Church of the Force. Lol Luthen just pulls out a Jedi book and says, "Have you heard of the Galaxy's Binder, the light side of the Force?" That would be cool. I feel like Luthen is quite a strong supporter of the Jedi or the Force at least maybe. Maybe not of the Jedi like practicing Jedi, but like maybe I feel like he's got an understanding of the Force. Similar to maybe like the Bendu. Not that like Luthen's super spiritual, but I feel like the Bendu it was just like a Force being. I don't know. I don't think Luthen has the Force though. I feel like he doesn't have the Force, but I feel like he just supports it. I made so much. Oh my god. I gotta like down all these bluedles now. Chicken blue man yang. I'll do chicken ramen noodle pack and make it blue. I'm actually yeah. I think that's a way to do it. I use the vermicelli rice noodles is what they're called here. I don't know if that's called different in America. But I feel like like when you in even like an instant cup of noodles, like I feel like even in that, like put the hot water in and just like add a couple drops. Boom, you got blue noodles. I could have done it this week, but I like to be a little extra. Hey, welcome Seriously Star Wars. Welcome, my friend. Hey, blue noodles. I know, right? Shocking. How good do they look? Stunning. They're a lot bluer on camera than they are like in real life. So I'm happy with that. Um but yeah, back to Andor. So okay, so what are we gonna see in episode 5? We've talked about the Mon Mothma thing. We're probably gonna see this dinner party happen, right? Like the last episode pretty much finished with like that interaction and like that discussion. So we're gonna have that's the B story. The A story is Cassian and gang robbing this place, right? And then B story is Mon Mothma. What else are we gonna see? We're gonna see anything else happen? Is it just gonna be those two things? Do you think we're gonna see the Senate this episode, or is it gonna be the next? That's a good question. That's a good question. So much blue mac and cheese. Now that's an idea. I feel like that would be cool. I feel like that definitely exists in Star Wars. That definitely exists. You just made bluedles for the week and you didn't even realize. I know. I like this is a massive. Like I'm not gonna eat this. I'm gonna try and like eat this after the show. But these will keep. It's like out of the broth. I feel like these will keep, and I can like reheat it later. Same as replica for my collection. Imagine that. I just like maybe I should put it in like resin and like yeah, make a little bluedle cube to go on my little collection here. I love that idea. A Thrawn cookie. Now there's an episode idea. That's cool. Bluedles, Thrawn, and the Chiss eat them. Fantastic. I love that idea. That's why they're so blue because their diet is bluedles and blue cookies. That's why their skin is so blue. Caleb, he was a priest in the church. The wording is loose because there aren't canon sources for the Church of the Force. JJ just talks about them in the behind-the-scenes feature for The Force Awakens. There you go. Yeah, like that's a pretty new concept to me. The whole idea of like the Church of the Force, but it makes sense. It makes sense. That's interesting. How JJ talks about it. I haven't seen all the featurettes or behind the scenes of sequel, but I am getting through it. Funny enough, I've watched the Last Jedi one, but nothing else. Fettuccine Blue Fredo. Wow, these names are phenomenal. Those are such good names. Fettuccine Blue Fredo. What could be one for bolognese? Bluinaise. Spaghetti bluinaise. There we go. Nailed it. The guy who got fired, can't remember his name, Total Empire Cheeser. He's going to make a move to get noticed and move up to the Empire. Actually, that's a good point, Julie. Thank you for bringing that up. I forgot that guy. His name was he commander or captain? I don't know what it was. Cyril Khan, I believe his name was. Cyril Khan. Yeah, that was an interesting scene. It was cool because we got to see quite a lot of. Was it on Coruscant that he went back to? I think it was Coruscant actually. Wait, he's like mother lived, and we got to see some really cool scenes and scenery. And then he's like obviously like going back to like his mum to like live with his mum because he got fired. Interesting story. Like that was random that we saw that. I'm interested to see where this character goes. I feel like he's obviously built up to be a fairly prominent character in the show, so I feel like he's definitely going to return. It's either going to go one of two ways. It's either he's going to be the character like what you're saying here, where it's like he's just a bit of a kiss ass for the Empire, and he's just going to like try and climb the ladder, and like he's going to track down Cassian himself, or like do something dramatic to get noticed by the Empire, or it's going to be the opposite, and he kind of maybe he starts to do that, and then he like changes his mind and he wants to join the rebellion. So yeah, Cyril Khan. What do we make of him? What's going to become of his character? We're going to see Cyril and Deidre meet each other and team up. Yeah, potentially. They're going to realize they both have the same feeling enough with the red tape, and we need to act. Yes, Deirdre, like, I had this theory that Deirdre was like up with Mon Mothma and like a part of the rebellion. But upon rewatching, I'm like, she's the one that's like making a big fuss over the star reader thing that Cassian stole. So it's like maybe she isn't with the rebels and maybe she is like against them and like trying to do stuff against them. So that's a good point. Yeah, no, no, I think Deidre is going to go to Rebel Cause. Yeah, so it's like that's what I thought. But then upon rewatch, I was like, but why is she making a big deal of Cassian stealing this thing if she like knows it's for the rebellion? But maybe that's a part of it. I don't know. I don't know. I can't figure that part out. Fun fact: George actually created the Church of the Force for the failed Star Wars Underworld series. There you go. Star Wars Underworld. I wish that was released. That would have been a cool show. I feel like Andor is what Star Wars Underworld would have felt like. Which is a good point. He intended for an episode of the show with Boba Fett being denied entry into the church because he's a clone. Imagine that. Discrimination there. Not too good. Joel, question. Oh my gosh, here we go. Do you think you'll suffer a bit of tonal whiplash once you go back to shows like The Mandalorian again, which are very different to Andor? Great question. Great question. So, Andor being quite a different feeling, pacing, aesthetic, just the writing is quite different to the Mandoverse that we've been experiencing. Do I think that I'm going to get a bit of a whiplash from, obviously going from Andor to Mando? I mean, straight up answer, yes. Yes, but I don't know if it's gonna be, like, good or like, good or bad. I don't know. Like, Andor to me is like I'm loving Andor because it's like, as a fan, I'm quite positive of Star Wars. I don't wanna be toxically positive that it's just that I'm like, everything is amazing, but it's like, Andor isn't my favorite show, I think. But is it the best well-made show? Yes. I think it's the most well-made show. The writing and the story and the cinematography is just levels above what we've seen. So it's really interesting because it's like, in my opinion, Andor was the best produced show. But it's like I was actually just speaking about this with my brothers the other day. But I found like the storyline of Obi-Wan a lot more interesting, and I think as a character, that was a lot more interesting of a show, but I wish Obi-Wan had the production quality of Andor. So, it's tricky. I mean, I'm finding the positives out of every show. I think Andor has so many positives, like the production value and, like, just the cinematography and the story. I think the writing, I think, is really high quality, which not that the others were low quality, but I think now in comparison, they're kind of seeming not as good, obviously. Um, this is a long answer. This is a long answer because it's hard to put this into one answer. Like I think I will, but it's not going to deter me from watching the other shows. I'm not going to not enjoy Mando anymore because it's different and it feels different to Andor. Same with like I'm not going to not enjoy Ahsoka or not enjoy Boba season 2, hopefully, because it's going to feel different to Andor. Because I think the one thing with Disney is the amount of stuff they've put out. You can tell every thing they've put out, they learn from. Like that is a good positive of Disney. Is like they're really receptive, almost sometimes too receptive, and they really learn what works and what doesn't with everything. So I think it's gonna maybe whiplash going back to Mando season 3, but I think as we continue and move forward, that's gonna kind of balance itself out. And I think Mando will kind of maybe get a bit more, I don't know, a bit more, what's the word? A bit more refined. And I think Andor will be a little less stretched out, to be quite far from the feeling of Star Wars. Not that all the shows should feel the same, because I definitely think all these shows should have different feelings and should have different pacing and focuses and character shows and story shows. And I think every show should have a different purpose. But yes, there will be whiplash, but I think it'll be a positive whiplash, if that makes sense. I'm not editing this well. This is a good question. Is it just me? Or am I the only one who got a darker vibe from Mando season 3? Absolutely, I think so. The trailer definitely showed that. Um, Obviously going to Mandalore, like it's not the greatest place in the world. It's been pretty desolate for a long time. Um, Bo-Katan's kind of got some stuff she's trying to sort out. Like Mando's trying to figure out what he's gonna do. He's like got Baby Yoda, Grogu again. Like, yeah, it's definitely got a darker vibe. Definitely, I totally agree. Which I kind of like. I think it's gonna be cool. Jeff's response to Joel's question. Joel, I'm kind of excited that the tone of this show is so different from the Favreau shows. The change of tone and style has been really nice. It will make for a good contrast. Yeah, actually, contrast. That's a great word. That's what I mean. Like, yes, it's whiplash, but it's good. Contrast. It's like juxtaposes between each other. I think it's actually okay and good that we have these two different feeling shows. I think it's really going to benefit Star Wars as a whole to have like these different feeling shows. And I think fans will soon learn that because it's like every show is going to have a slightly different audience kind of target. And Star Wars doesn't work when it's trying to get from 5 to 95-year-olds. Like, I feel like the sequel trilogy tried to do that, where it's like, we want to, and like rightfully so, they want the movie to be successful and like accessible to everyone. But I think the reason these shows will work and will continue to work is if they keep focusing on like Boba Fett, like the Boba show is a bit more of like just kind of a thrash around action show that's kind of just cool. Maybe don't have as deep a storyline stuff. Andor is a much more mature show, very complex dialogue and concepts. Mandalorian is like that's kind of like what's the word? The flagship show of Star Wars, and like the face of the Mandalorian and the face of Baby Yoda is like very iconic these days. So I feel like they were going to continue with that. Whoa, could have been terrible. I feel like the more they focus on these shows being different feelings and styles, the better Star Wars is going to be. Joel, Jeff, I know that I'm asking how you feel when yeah, because it's like the purpose and the feeling is like two different things. Looking forward to it. So good. I love it. I kind of hope Lucasfilm revives Underworld or at least repurposes some of the old scripts because there's like 100 completed scripts and 300 various stages. Yeah, I mean the stories are still back there. I don't know if they'll like revamp things or like do it, but I definitely feel like there's I feel like there's even characters or notions from that show that have been used in some Star Wars things. But yeah, that would be cool. Imagine if they just released it as is though. When Mando came out, it was so nice to have that contrast between the original feel of the Mando versus the saga films. Yeah, I think like what we're saying, I feel like contrast in Star Wars works really well. Maybe that's why Clone Wars worked, but it's kind of funny because it's like it's why it works, but also why sometimes it doesn't work. Clone Wars didn't work in the start, but then eventually it did really work because it was quite different from the films, and like it couldn't be more opposite. Instead of like a live action blockbuster movie, it was an animated like teenage kids show, like TV show with 20-minute episodes. So it's like that contrast I think didn't work for I say it didn't work. It just like it wasn't immediately absorbed, but then now it's like the most revered one of the most revered elements of Star Wars. So I like contrast. Like Underworld was ambitious. They planned 400 episodes of television, 1 hour each, and expected it to cost 50 million an episode total of $20 billion for the whole series. Yeah, I mean that was ambitious. Like I know George has money and like Lucasfilm has money, but that was ambitious. But what an interesting what an interesting way to do it. That would have been a cool show to see if that ever came out. That's right. The test footage came out a little while ago. Unfortunately, the VFX were never finished for the pilots, will probably never be released. I mean, I don't know. Still like to see the test footage. We'll start to wrap up very shortly here on the RaeSide. So let me know your final thoughts for Andor. Episode 5. What are we going to see? Of course, not a big cameo show, so I wouldn't. I would ask you, what are your cameos you think we'll see, but I don't know if we'll get any. Make sure you check out. There's lots of videos happening on the channel at the moment. Check out my fantastic interview I did with the fantastic Omid Abtar. He was so great to talk to. That is live on the channel now. Go check it out. It's really, really, yeah, it was just a fun conversation. And we just talked about a couple different things. It was really, really cool to get to chat to him. Make sure you're on the channel tonight, 30 minutes after the show. Oh, when the show ends for 30 minutes, we do a debrief, a post show. The link isn't live yet, but I'll make that live very shortly. So make sure you check those things out as we talk about our final thoughts. Andor, I know I keep calling it Andor actually, and that's because I'm so used to saying Mando. The Andor Mando crossover, exactly. The Diego and Pedro crossover, yeah, like Andor just like feels right. Yeah, make sure you check out my content. Obviously, I don't have a Patreon or anything, so the best thing you can do to help and support the channel and support me is honestly just like videos and check them out when they come out. If you want to share them on your social media, that also helps a bunch too. So yeah, make sure you're doing that. That really helps my content out here. I've also made a TikTok. That was a random turn of this week as well. I've also made the TikTok, same name, at the RaeSide. It's if you want to go check that out, all these shorts and reels I'll post over there as well. So if you have TikTok, make sure you go follow and support me over there as well. But yeah, that's the best thing you can do to support me in this channel, so I can keep making bluedles and random things for you. It's an interesting, almost all new Star Wars content takes a little time to be accepted by different factions of the fan base. Half love it, half hate it, and then decades go by, it's loved. That's a really good description of it. It's, yeah, and I think that's what I was getting at. It's like that thing of like Clone Wars was like really hated like when it first came out, and then now it's like we got that celebration of it. It's like 14 years later. It's like, you know, one of the most like loved things of Star Wars. It's really interesting of like how we first absorbed Star Wars. Dave, what was your thought of the first use of profanity in Andor? It's never going to it's never going to get Tarantino level, but Star Wars moving forward, should it be get more R-rated, or is Star Wars always family oriented? That's a good question. I think it was fine. I think it was like appropriate. It wasn't too unnecessary. I think for shows like Andor, it makes sense. Like I absolutely didn't even catch it. Like even on the rewatch, I didn't catch it because it just felt that natural and like to the tone of like the dialogue and what was happening in that character. Like it felt appropriate. So like I feel like the use of like profanity was like a normal use. But if it got like, yeah, I'm not too kind of serious about Star Wars being like family centered or family oriented. But I feel like if it got unnecessary, I would be saying that. So I feel like for now, it's like, yeah, if they tastefully put it in there and it makes sense, then sure, it makes sense. It's pretty incredible that the VFX that is, the acting is a little lackluster. Wow, really struggle there. Yeah, back to Star Wars Underworld. The test footage is on YouTube. It's 10 minutes long. There you go. There you go. And Dave Tarantino is family fun. Family fun. I love that. I love that. Yeah, we'll start to wrap up there shortly, my friends. Again, if you're awake, if you stay up for the show tonight, make sure you come back here to the channel for a little debrief of what we see. It's been what a great show we've had today. We've talked about so much, all the things that are coming up in the episode, and hopefully we get to see a bunch of what we talked about. A lot of you made some really, really good predictions, so I hope to see a couple of those come true. And pats on the backs and shout outs I'll give to anyone that makes a prediction and it comes true. I'll be interested to see what happens. But I hope you loved my bluedle creation. Again, I feel like one day I should make some sort of a pack where you can make this at home. But yeah, these bluedles, they're pretty good. They don't taste like food coloring. They tasted like the flavors I made it. So I'm pretty happy. I'm probably gonna. I feel like eating on camera because I feel like I gotta eat this off camera now. But glad to do the taste test here for you guys. Dave agreeing. Jeff, could you imagine if Star Wars entrusted Tarantino through? Imagine. Imagine. I want to learn more about this Church of the Force. Where do I look? That's a good question. Even I don't know too much about the Church of the Force. Geek Ledger. Caleb, where did you say you said it before? Someone mentioned it. JJ Abrams. That's right. You said JJ Abrams mentioned it. So maybe look it up. JJ Abrams, just the Force. Of course, Wikipedia. Wikipedia. That's probably the best place to do it as well. It'll show you all the times it's like where it's mentioned and things like that. I'd be Tarantino and Star Wars. Man, that's crazy. That would be crazy. Amazing. Well, we'll start to wrap up here, guys. Make sure you follow all the social medias at the RaeSide, at Twitter, Instagram, and very recently now TikTok. Make sure you help me out by liking and sharing everything that I'm posting. I really appreciate it. And thank you for chatting as always this week, guys. It's always fun. Obviously, it's just me, myself, talking to the camera. So it's great to have you guys' opinions, comments, thoughts, questions, and conversations here live with me every week. It's phenomenal. And again, reminder, obviously we're here today. Our shows have moved to Tuesdays, the same time of 7 p.m. But it used to be a Monday show, but now it's always permanently Tuesday, 7 p.m. So this time every week. So make sure if you want to stay up for the episode of Andor tonight, make sure you're here for the after show. We can debrief our feelings. It only goes for a quick 25, 30 minutes. So I'll see you guys then if you stay up for that. But for now, thank you so much for the show and for being here. And as always choose the RaeSide. Some days I have fun things to say at the post show, but I don't have anything fun to say this week. But I was really worried about my whole mouth being blue for this show, but it doesn't look blue. So happy days for that. But I'm gonna go try and eat these bluedles because I feel like I can't waste them. Right? I can't waste these bluedles. But I'll see you guys in the post show. Hope to see you there. Is everyone staying up? Actually, who's staying up? You guys staying up? Hopefully you stay up. I love it when you guys come and talk. So make sure you watch the episode. Hopefully it's not too long. And come talk about it. Come talk about the episode after the show. It's a good time. It's a good time. All right. I'll post credit. Yeah. I do post. If you don't know, I feel like I got to whisper because not everyone knows. If you don't know, I do a post credit like every week where like I come back and tell you some secret about the show. But there's no secret this week, so I'm just saying hi again. But come to the show after the episode of Andor this week. It's gonna be a good time. I'll see you guys there. Yeah. May the force be with you.